I'm Solon, this is Rainy Day Let's Play, and you are watching the 22nd episode of Bioshock Infinite. I cannot believe we are even this far into the whole game, and it is going to be kind of coming down to everything now. As you can see, the giant floating castle like Shea Comstock in the sky, and the floating heads, kind of like a deity. The deity of the dead presidents that are being worshipped in a major way. Oh, and that cutscene bird came up and threw us through a window again. That keeps happening. Okay, so Booker's unconscious once again, so we get to hang out on his carpet again, his old carpet.
And wipe away the debt.
Hey, everyone's here. We're all just kind of hanging out in my apartment. I'm glad you guys get to see the place finally. Can just let me through? Nothing? No? Okay. We're awkwardly close. Okay, so everyone's chanting the same thing over and over just to make sure you don't forget it, because that'd be terrible if you weren't paying attention to the meaning of the game for some reason. But jamming ideas down your throats. That's kind of the Bioshock way. It's like a sing-along. Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt. Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt. No! Keep going! Hurt him bad.
Take me back. Take me home. Please.
Oh, you don't need to beg to Daddy Bird to take you back, but Daddy Bird will be happy to punch a hole in a wall for you and fly away. Alright, and they're out.
Elizabeth!
Exit scene wall.
I gotta catch up to her.
Okay, so we're gonna chase her down. Kinda. So they're setting this huge epic scene.
I'm not letting you take her, you hear me? Ah, you mother piece of shit! I'm not going to—
Spoilers, they take her. And so we're now suddenly transported. Oh, Booker, don't be so naive.
Elizabeth!
You've been doing this whole trans-dimensional song and dance for what, like 2 hours? Come on, you know what's going on. We're somewhere where we were not before. It's as simple and as open as that. But we are kind of in a new hall of the giant Comstock Tower.
Is that?
Some men dream of money.
What the?
Some men dream of love. My father dreamt of a flood of fire. We were given Eden, and we turned it into Sodom. Why do we deserve salvation? The Lord gave Noah a fish in the form of a flood.
Alright, so Elizabeth has essentially turned a whole 180 on us. This is kind of like future Elizabeth times. As we can see that there's a lot of pieces that we are missing in the middle. And so the only way that this narrative can go is to, once again in classic Bioshock fashion, use cryptic messages to patch together the mystery in the middle. Is kind of the same thing we've been doing the whole game and every Shock game.
What are you planning to do to me?
So this is like the mystery after the third act. And we have creepy president guys that we get to see again, only now they're more in the flesh. Or not, maybe in the spirit, or time-space. I'm going to go with that was a bad thing. Not sure what I was supposed to do. I didn't, like... I guess my presence being there was a little too taxing, and now everyone's trying to kill me. Because why not? It's, what were we expecting? The interesting thing about this is that we're fighting a whole bunch of, kind of like... I don't know if they're even like... In the first Bioshock we had Plaster Paris splicers, and that was absolutely crazy. They really felt like they were trapped and possessed in disgusting and crazy ways. But these, like, dead president's characters, they're not uncanny
I gotta find a way
in that same way. They're just kind of silly. But we're gonna have to fight through waves of those now because new bad guy.
Listen, I just want to see the girl.
They ain't answering.
What were those? Doesn't matter. I just gotta get to the warden's office.
I like how Booker is just like super naive about everything all of a sudden and isn't gonna question any of it.
What is this place? Just send me back to my tower.
He's just like playing the most gullible main character.
And you chose to destroy it.
He's not my father.
Okay, so we have Elizabeth fighting against her dad in the absence of
the siphon
us.
is a kind of leash. Yes, my father put it on me. But when the time came, neither did I remove it myself. What would happen if I took off the leash? And I found I was as obedient as ever.
Now that don't make sense, because Elizabeth has always been on a leash, and has always been on a leash. Like, on a leash with Comstock, on a leash with Songbird, on a leash with Booker. There's no time when Elizabeth is in this game and not on a leash. But metaphorically speaking, which is itself very diabolical and dangerous critique of this game. But yeah, it's kind of a frustrating thing actually. When the entire time she's like vying for this freedom. Hey, it's another one of those guys. What's up? Oh. Okay, so they're just gonna attack me no matter what happens. There's probably some way to fix that or get around it, but I don't really care. Not when I have a sniper rifle. It's kind of like a hand cannon, and I'm gonna use it the exact same way as a hand cannon. It just takes a little longer to reload, and I don't have as many bullets. Okay, everything exploded. Good with me. Sweet. Had a nice little chain reaction there going. By complete accident, but works for me. So, remember in System Shock 2, this is kind of, I'm going somewhere completely different now. Change of pace. But remember in System Shock 2, you don't have to remember, this is a rhetorical question. But we had we have a menu for items, power-ups, every sub-ability that you have, and sub-menus for a lot of these extra abilities. And all that stuff. Next game comes around in Bioshock, and a lot of that's taken away and replaced with single inventories. Not ones that hold everything, but like, you get one inventory for your weapons, one inventory for your plasmids, and like a sub-inventory for all of your special abilities. And a couple other things. But now, we have in Bioshock Infinite, all of that stripped away, and you get one sub-inventory for plasmids and
Our
2 guns.
minds are born, festering with sin. Some are so blighted, they will never find redemption.
Oh, yeah, whatever, Elizabeth.
mind
She's just
must
gonna
be pulled
wax on
from the
ideologically like
Pray with me.
Bioshock likes to do. In the meantime, this other cutscene's gonna get in the way and overlap, and triply in the meantime, I'm gonna talk over it just to mess with you.
For what?
Danger zone.
All I ever wanted
But,
was to see you.
So, once we've stripped away all of these inventories and ways to manage your combat and the gameplay itself, or the systems, the combat systems themselves, allow for that, where basically every encounter is just you shoot bad guys dead. You get an interesting kind of idea of how combat works in a AAA game, and it's kind of this feeling of like hyper-consumption.
I'm Dr. Pettifog, Elizabeth, and I'll be taking care of you.
Get away from me.
Defiant, even after all this time.
Time.
DeWitt just left you here. You need to give up on him, love.
He will come.
It's like as if Elizabeth was completely reliant on the guy that she met for a couple hours. Got that Disney syndrome just kind of just reeking in it. The worst part about this subplot is that it makes it look like Elizabeth cannot do anything without Booker, which is very, very frustrating. It doesn't really give her any kind of just her day. Wow, everyone just exploded at once. That was magical. Nice little electric chain reaction to just vaporize all of these dead presidents.
The specimen needs to be destroyed. We couldn't even hold her in that tower, and now the Prophet...
Destroy the lamb? His hair?
If we modify the procedure, we could... It would be safer for everyone. It would seem an accident.
Okay. Spoilers, they don't do it. That doesn't happen. Hey, you're being watched. Woo! So, you get this idea with the battle systems of this, like, kind of hyper-consumption in Bioshock Infinite, at least. Even more so than the original Bioshock. This was actually something I think I said in the first Bioshock. But in this one, it's like, whatever I've got on hand, I'm just gonna pop, 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 shoot, 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 do it. Now, the difference is I am playing on easy, and I want to always make sure that I make that abundantly clear. In other difficulties, you're limited in a lot of these things, but my understanding is that once you find loopholes to those systems, it becomes much easier to move around and work and take advantage of these systems, kind of like hacking them in a way. But it still kind of comes out to be that same, like, just grab whatever's on hand. It's going to be really difficult to plan anything bigger than that because of how the game's set up and because of how random and scarce and unable to plan for what weapons are available it can be. And so it's kind of a weird place. And it makes for, I guess in one way you could consider it like a buffet. It's actually really nice that I'm playing on easy because it allows me to explore a wide range of weapons and plasmids to my own leisure, and I don't have to be limited by doing things the right way, because the right way is kind of cheap and rigmarole-y, and you have to put it together in tough ways. But it also, doing that kind of thing would limit you.
The child is ready. It's time.
Prophet, even if we cure her, why do you think she'll do what you ask?
My daughter has two problems, Doctor. One is the condition that science will cure her of.
Love.
The other affliction is of a spiritual nature.
What affliction is that?
Hope.
Ah, right, of course. Hoop. Hey, it's a kinetoscope! My favorite. Oh, it's one of those ones without any words. Hummingbirds. We saw this one a lot really early in the game, but I think, did we? Might be forgetting. Freaking hummingbirds. Flying hypodermic needles. They will murder you.
Your surgery
And
is
not
tomorrow,
even blink.
You better eat.
True story.
Oh, you still expect DeWitt to burst in and rescue you, don't you? It's been 6 months.
6 months.
6 months. It's like a sing-along. I'm telling you. Just sing along with this game. Oh, one thing I want to get at before we get out of this episode. In the end of the last episode, we had this really cool motherhood-esque episode with Elizabeth and her mother, and I didn't want to take that away. And we kind of get a little bit of that here with Elizabeth doing this big emotional plea to Songbird, and Songbird takes her away, and all of this stuff. It's this very kind of amazing and cool thing where they actually do a really good job exploring what it means in a very spiritual way, being a mother and being a daughter, and the kinds of relationships that are involved in that. And I didn't want to let that slide under the rug. That was a really good theme that they put together. Anyway, we're at the end of the episode, so I'm going to cut it here, and we'll see you next time on Rainy Day Let's Play.